Evening, we are tracking a very powerful storm moving across the United States once again. Storm was responsible for more than 24 tornadoes in the past 28 hours across the Gulf Coast and southeastern United States, which thankfully is finally wrapping up. However, the storm's threat is not yet over. Observed here on satellite imagery, as you can see in front of you, we have a very strong area of low pressure in the Ohio Valley, marked in 978 millibar, with a very powerful frontal band in front of it. That frontal band is what contains the power. This area, this very large frontal band, is containing thunderstorms along the back edge. On the front edge, farther north especially, there is heavy snow occurring. And with this system, the potential for strong winds of over 60 miles per hour for some may occur. Others may see winds between 40 and 50 miles per hour, mainly across some interior portions of the northeast USA, and a couple of areas in the mid-Atlantic as well. Coastal concerns will not be a extreme problem. They're not extremely high right now. There is a high wind warning in effect for some of New England's coastlines for winds of 60 miles per hour, and there is coastal flood advisories up, as well as storm warnings. However, the biggest threat for this system will remain to be the heavy snow, the potentially damaging or even severe winds, and the potential for scattered flash floods, some of which may be on the substantial side. Also, for portions of coastal Maine, earlier this evening, the National Weather Service issued a hurricane force wind warning, where winds of up to or over 75 miles per hour may be possible for portions of the eastern half of the coastline of Maine. That is where the strongest winds of this storm will occur. Moving on here. Here is the forecast model, the NAM mesoscale model, high res. You can see quite clearly as we advance to 10 p.m. That initial snow that broke out across portions of southern New Hampshire will already be done before we even. In fact, it already is done right now. Will still be done by the time we get to that point, and some rain will be taking over to start. It isn't until midnight where some of that rain, or 1 a.m., where some of that rain starts to become very heavy. And those heavy bands you see here are what are going to be responsible for the rapid snow melt and the excessive rainfall, which will likely lead to some potentially substantial flash floods, depending on where the greatest amounts of rain rates end up. And as we go through the next few hours, it will still be pouring through 2 and 3 a.m. with those very heavy rain rates, and can't even rule out the possibility for areas of the northeast USA, south of New Hampshire and Vermont, the potential for a couple of thunderstorms. Yes, thunderstorms are on the cards, possibly, for Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. The Storm Prediction Center itself has placed a small chance for a few rumbles of thunder and isolated lightning flashes. Farther north than that, it's unlikely, but don't rule out don't consider yourself hallucinating if you see a random flash, because that very well could be lightning there too. So, moving on. This is what radar currently looks like right now. This is reflectivity. As you can see, we have some, generally it's pretty light precipitation across the state right now. The rains in southern New Hampshire is not falling at a very fast clip, and the snow is not tremendously heavy either, but it is there. As you can see, again, to the south, very heavy rains, as you can see in the yellows and oranges. That is what will be moving north. And over the next few hours, all these bands will move north and cause the potential, again, for floods. Here is the mesoscale analysis provided by the Storm Prediction Center. As you can see, the center pressure is 978 millibars, very well defined and very well defined low. Sorry, not well defined. Very intense low. Looking back at satellite image, it also seems well defined. So that low is definitely there. Can't miss it. And as you can see, toward again our main area of concern, the Northeast USA. These isobars are very close together. Now, usually when we have isobars close together, usually that means that tends to mean that the winds are also usually higher in situations like this. And as we go through the next few hours, believe it or not, even on this thing, there's a forecast. Very interesting little system that they have here. I just discovered this recently. Didn't know the SPC had this. So as you can see, by 2 hours from now, 978 millibars. Our isobars looking into the Northeast USA states are very close together. The low will move generally north, maybe a bit northeast, as it enters as it moves over the border of the United States into Canada. Those isobars you're seeing very close together once again, and that is the point in time where we're likely to see some of our winds, which may be between 40, 50, and in some places 60 miles per hour. That's where we'll likely see some of those winds taking over. These winds will likely pack a punch as well. And then as you can see, by 6 hours from now, the winds are pretty much at their strongest. As you can see, again, those isobars very, very close together. And the low itself at 974 millibar, you can see it. It was right in there. Just going over the border into far southeastern Canada, around Toronto or somewhere around there. I think that's Toronto. So that being said, we have a lot to watch tonight, and I will likely be here for a good part of the storm's duration. I have been getting a little sleepy this evening, a little bit on the tired side compared to the snowstorm last time. But, well, active events, active life. That's the way it ends up being with me anyway. Whenever we get one of these situations during the night, it sometimes impacts my sleep. Because, well, this is what I do. So, here are the warnings. As you can see in the red there, hurricane-force wind warnings along Maine's coastline for winds 75 plus miles per hour. In portions of northern New Hampshire around Berlin, Conway, there is a winter storm warning in effect where the potential for more than 12 inches of snow may exists, and 12 inches of snow may occur as well. A lot of Maine under that winter storm warning as well. High wind warning. Excuse me. Sorry about that. High wind warning in effect for coastal New Hampshire, Maine, and Massachusetts, as well as portions of Vermont and the mountainous regions of Vermont and New Hampshire, where winds up to 60 miles per hour may occur. And then generally across all of southern New Hampshire, it's a winter weather advisory with the potential for a couple of inches of snow. Was possible. That has already happened. We've already gotten a couple of areas that have seen 1 or 2 inches of snow, maybe a couple of areas isolated 3 inches that have occurred. That's passed. Southern New Hampshire is now, it's just going to be just rain. All of our beautiful snow from just a couple of days ago is going to get washed away. Well, it was good while we had it. But suffice it to say, this storm, powerful. One word, powerful. We'll be watching this throughout the night, see how it unfolds. I'll have another update, say about an hour.